Hello again, this is Christian Gregg with Interlogix. Today we're going to go over our new TVN10 kits. There are 4 different kits available. 2 of the kits come with 4-channel NVRs with your choice of either 4 wedge cameras or 4 bullet cameras in the package. There are also 2 8-channel NVR kits as well. The 8-channel kits come with either 4 wedge cameras or 4 bullet cameras. What do we need to do a 4-camera IP install today? Well, we need a TVN10 kit, a monitor, and some Cat5 cabling. Why is it that easy? Well, the NVRs themselves come with a built-in PoE switch. They also come with display ports, so a light user can just take a standard HDMI monitor, hook it up to the unit, and still see their cameras without having to view software. But it also does have an Ethernet port, so if you want to use TrueVision Navigator or a browser to review the video, you can do that as well. And you can also set up this so you can review the video via your phone or your tablet via your router. Before powering up the NVR, please make sure that all the cameras that you want on the system are connected to the NVR and the display monitor is also connected. We actually ship each NVR with a mouse, and this is actually a critical component in setting up the recorder if you do not want to set it up via software. Okay, now we're ready to power up the recorder, so that's what I'm going to do. You see the startup screen coming up right now. The next thing you'll see on the screen is the wizard, and the wizard is actually designed to do a quick install of the product before you really have to go into detail. But basically what this does is it'll actually set up the recorder to start recording. So what I like to call the Friday afternoon install, where the customer wants the cameras to be recording over the weekend, but you really don't have the time, or the technician that's actually installing it is not the person that usually programs the unit. So basically all that technician has to do is keep hitting next and answer the questions that the NVR is asking them. So if I go to next here on the screen, it's going to ask you here, do you want to start the wizard when the device starts? After the first initial install, you're going to want to uncheck that, because if you keep that checked, if there's a power outage at the site, this wizard will come up on the monitor screen and you will receive calls saying, hey, how do I get this off of there? So uncheck it after the first original install. So now I hit next. It's going to ask me for my admin password. Admin password out of the box is 1234. Oops. Now, it is recommended to change the admin password of the recorder, and if you wanted to do that, you could come into here and then set up your new password. I'm just going to keep it at 1234 right now. So uncheck this, go to next. Next question I'll ask you here is hey, what's your time zone? I am at GMT -5 here in the state of Maryland, so I've already set that up. And you're also going to set up your system time on the recorder, as well as enable your daylight savings time. The next setting here is for your IP address for the recorder for the customer's network. If you notice, I've already got my cameras have already came up here. The reason for that is the NVR actually has its own internal NIC card. So if you're familiar with a lot of NVRs that are out in the field, our higher end TVN21 recorders have dual NICs. so we can keep that IP video traffic off the customer's network unless they actually want to see the video. This unit does the same thing, but the NIC card is internal to the unit itself. So what it does, when you power up the recorder, it actually goes out and finds the cameras and gives them an IP address scheme on a 192.168.254 network. So you can go in and actually set up those recorders with their own IP address that you choose, but this is a nice way on a small install to keep those IP addresses on that secondary NIC. And this NIC that you're seeing here on the screen is actually the customer's network. So if I am retrofitting a DVR that is out in the field, I'm going to have my cameras reside on that parallel network, and then I'm going to put in the old IP address of the DVR that was at the customer site right here. Now I go to next. I've already done this, but it is recommended when you get the recorder to initialize the hard drive that is in the recorder. So if I needed to do that, this is where I would check the hard drive and initialize, but I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to go to next here. The next setting here is for actually adding cameras that are out in the field that the NVR did not find. The NVR is designed to find True Vision cameras and the Interlogix line, but if you wanted to use somebody else's cameras via an OnVIF driver or a direct plug-in, this is where you would actually go in and find those cameras. Next question here is, hey, do you want to record on constant recording, or do you want to record on event? If I hit constant recording, it's just going to record the cameras at a high frame rate. Like I mentioned, this is for that Friday afternoon install where you have somebody else coming in to set up the recorder at a later date. I don't recommend this setting to run all the time, or you're not going to have a lot of room on your hard drive. So now I've got my status. It basically comes in here and gives me a summary of what is on the recorder and how it's set. If I hit finish, you have now done about 75% of your install for the recorder. Now we're actually going to go into the display settings and continue our install. So if I right click the mouse here, I come into the menu settings. Maybe I want to come in on my layout view, and maybe I want camera number 2 to be in the first space, and I want camera number 1 to be in this one. If I hit apply, it actually changes the camera settings there. I don't have to go into the back of the unit and start doing what we used to do with the BNCs and switch them out to the proper ports to get the view that we want. If I go back into the menu setting, under cameras, I can set up the camera for motion here, set up my sensitivity rate, and if you wanted to enable that for motion, you're going to enable the camera for motion, and then I can come into here and deselect certain parts of the camera. If there was a highway at the top of the screen that I wanted to take out here, I could do that. What do we have in the settings here? So under encoding, this is where I'm actually going to go into the recorder, and I'm going to set the resolution for the camera. Current camera I have on the screen here is actually a 3 megapixel camera, so if I wanted to get everything out of that camera, I could select the 2048 by 1536 resolution, set my frame rate, and then you have your pre-event and post-event recording for your motion detection here. A couple other settings I want to go over. I'm not going to go over everything in the unit because I want this to be a pretty short video. We also have DDNS support in our recorders. This is a great way to give that customer the app on their phone or on their tablet without having to go to the service provider and ask for a static IP address, which can become very expensive. The Easy DNS is actually built into the unit, and we supply that, so there's no outside services that you have to get to make that work. Another nice piece here is we also support universal plug and play. So if you're familiar with the gaming world, where somebody that's playing Xbox wants to play somebody else in another country, how they do that is via UPnP on their router that is at their house. And basically what it does is it goes out and actually opens the proper ports. So our ports, the HTTP port is 80 out of the box, the RTSP port is 554, and the server port for Navigator is 8000. These all can be changed. As you can see, I can come in and edit the port to make a change here. Or if these are the ports that I want to use, I can take this UPnP setting, enable it, and now I can go out and see if I can open those ports on the router. Now if you're trying to open these ports on a corporate network, I can tell you it's not going to work. But if you're really just trying to do a sub shop or somebody's residential system, UPnP is a good way to open those ports without having to get the Geeks on Squad guy out to your site. Okay, you've done your install. Finally, I wanted to make sure that everybody saw the 4 different ways that you can review the video from the TVN10. First, you can use just the standard HDMI or VGA display output. You can also use our app. Right now I have the app on my iPad, but it's also available for the iPhone as well as Android devices. And then of course I have the Navigator software, which is our thick client software for all of our recorders in the TrueVision family. Then I can also just look at this via a browser as well. Currently I have Google Chrome up, but Internet Explorer will work as well. Thank you very much for your time today and watching my video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel.